When you are dealing with narcissists, it can affect your health, not only mentally, but also on the physical level. And the reason why it affects your health is because they are only there to take. And when you grow up in a narcissistic family, or if you have any connections with a narcissist that sees you as a target, they see you as a wellspring of life, they're trying to get everything they can get out you. And see, here's the dirty thing about a narcissist. A narcissist will not, I repeat, a narcissist will not hang on in the long haul for somebody that is of no use to them. So you can be at your lowest. A narcissist will not be there for you at your lowest. The narcissist is always available to their targets when they have something, when they have substance, okay? So they are parasites, okay? And a narcissist acts like a parasite. A parasite breaks something down. So when a narcissist finds a connection to you, they're going to break you down. They break you down in their words. When you are growing up in a narcissistic family, then what happens is you're broken down to a point. You're broken down to a point where you have to believe that whatever they say and do is right, even though it's wrong, even though it's immoral, even though it hurts you, even though the expectation is for you to forget about their foolishness and just tolerate whatever they put out because they're your family. But then there's no peace, and there's no justice for you. So in this message, I'm going to help you all flip the script, reverse these expectations. But we first need to talk about how it affects your health. Now, mentally, of course, they break you down mentally with the insults, the disrespect, the unfairness, and it leaves you feeling like, well, why they're treating me like this? Why, when I try to do the right thing, they're punishing me for doing the right thing? And you have to understand, too, a narcissist, they're not going to tell you. But when a narcissist see that you're of value, their main thing is to humble you and try to invalidate who you are and your worth. Okay, that's why they're parasitic people. They break you down. They seek to break you down. Okay, sometimes they might throw a few crumbs at you to make you think that they're trying to build you up. But at the end of the day, a narcissist at heart will always seek to break you down. Okay, now I'm going to give you an example of how interacting with a narcissist can take a toll on your health. All right. So one of my relatives that happens to have narcissistic tendencies, I do not fool with this relative at all. This relative may or may not have my number, but that person is blocked because over the years, I've dealt with this person for decades, okay, before I got to this point. But this person would do things to me. And every time I get angry or ready to retaliate, then, here come my parents. They want to stop me. Everybody want to stop me after they done took their shot at me. They done did they do. So it got to a point one day I had came over to visit those relatives' house, and this person comes out the room with part of her body covered up and the other part exposed where you could see those organs, okay? And my younger relative, okay, he actually was there. He seen it. So she came out the room knowing that there's other people in the home visiting, and she went back in, came back out, and then she had another part of her cover and the other part of her organs exposed. And I had a problem with that, and I told her that you should not be doing this. This is wrong. You're doing this in front of our nephew. Put some clothes on. Now listen, a narcissist will go ad hominem when they're wrong. And they know they're wrong, but they're going to defend their wrongdoing. So she was like, well, this is what I do during my time at my place. This and this and this. And I was like, To do that, that's trifling to do that. Well, you trifling because blah, 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 blah. So the person took the conversation into going in on me instead of addressing what we're talking about, which was it's wrong for a grown woman to come out of a room, even if that's your family member, and show her body parts or expose her body parts with no garment now to a minor or anyone, not just a minor. If it was another family member there that's a man or a woman, I'm not the type that likes stuff like that. Okay. So, period. That was wrong. And we got into an argument. I'm not going to say that I won that argument because when I left, I was stressed out. I had a headache. The nerves in my back was throbbing. And I had needed to lay down. My blood pressure was up. And the reason why that happened to me, because I was doing exactly what that narcissist wanted. And the reason why I was doing exactly what that narcissist wanted, because that person shouldn't have access to me in the first place. So I was also arguing from a place of passion because I felt that that was so wrong to do that. But this person did not care that it's immoral to do that in front of a young child or anyone that's visiting. Okay, so we are at a point today where I don't talk to that person. If that person has something that she wants to say to me, she has to go through a third person. And then I'm at the point of where I will say yay or nay. In most cases now it's a nay, because I know that a person that has abused your kindness over and over, no matter how hard you've tried to talk, not to mention this person calls me bees and stuff like that whenever she feels like it. And it's not like it's warranted. Like, it ain't like I stole a car or called her man or something like that. None of that drama stuff. It's just when we're in a simple disagreement, when I want you out my face, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make you mad and to feel like I've won. Now, I'm going to also tell you, before I get off this message, where the consequences are, because these narcissists, they don't see their consequences coming because they always feel like they're going to have that access to you. Okay. But I'm going to give you that consequence in a moment, or I'm going to say in some moments. Okay. I still got some place I want to go here, but bottom line is, the person had really took a toll on my physical health. And I think one of the last straws for me is when that person pulled a weapon out on me and thought it was funny. And I didn't even know the thing was loaded. And because of the past that I had with this person, and I know what happens when I argue with this person, I know that my body is going to suffer for it when I argue with that person. So when the person pulled the weapon out on me, I was in a position of where I can't do this no more. I was in a position where I'm gonna have to ride this out. And at that opportunity, I decided when I got away from that person, we got to limit contact, communication, stuff like that. And so other family members would be like, oh, she was just playing. She wasn't gonna do nothing. That ain't the point. I didn't like that. And when I go to tell this person that I don't like stuff like that, we get into an argument. I get called out my name and I'm left stressed out. So it's an unfair deal when you give a narcissist access to you. So let's go into the remedies of how do we resolve this issue. You got to get to the point of where you don't care about how they feel. This is wisdom, y'all. I know we want to do the Christian thing and forgive, and you can still do the Christian thing and forgive, but you also got to hold them accountable. That's where we got to get to as Christians. When you don't get to know the Lord the way that you should, then you're under attack for deception. Okay? God wants you to be wise as serpents, but harmless as a dove. So we're not going to make these narcissists do what we want them to do as a means of retaliation, but we're going to set that boundary, which is harmless on both our ends when we set that boundary. The only thing it's going to do is cause that narcissist to sit with their own foolishness and let them, I wonder why that he don't talk to me no more. I wonder why she don't talk to me no more. And you let them sit with it. And then the way you do it, if you haven't heard me before, you got to put distance between you and that person. Stop coming around so often. And depending on the person, you might have to change your number, not change your number, but block them, decline calls, whatever it is you have to do to keep your peace of mind. You got to get to the point where you cannot let a narcissist gas you up to think that their needs are so much more important than yours. So you got to put distance between you and that person. You got to know that when you say no, they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it. And when you get to the point that you don't care, you don't want to be bothered, you're going to feel so much better. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, you might feel bad that they're going through certain things and you want to help them, but you know how that person is. You know that's just like that snake that plays sick or hungry, and you go to feed it and help it, and once it heals up, it bites you again. That's what a narcissist will do. If they don't seek to get help, if they don't genuinely care to transform into being a better person, then they're going to always be that snake that you help that you should not have helped. So you're going to have to let them sit with the fruit of their doings, which is they've pushed you too far. Either they don't like to apologize and they won't, or they're only apologizing to keep access to you because they feel that you're a kind-natured person and you're always going to give in. But you got to get to the point where you're like, no. There are some people you have to go no contact with them altogether because they will not stop. And this mostly is what you would do in a relationship matter, okay? But with somebody that's family, you would only do that if it's extreme. If it's extreme, if you feel like your life is threatened, your well-being is threatened, you would have to go no contact altogether, all right? Now, I told y'all that there's a consequence to when they do you any type of way, they don't respect you, and they don't realize that later on, they're going to need you. Now, that relative may or may not realize it, may or may not admit it. There's days that person need a babysitter. There's days that person need rest. And other family members will try to get in my ear and tell me, oh, you need to go and see your little nephew or cousin or whoever. They'll try to get me to go and deal with that person. And I'm like, no. She needs a babysitter. She needs to figure it out. That child has two parents. And I would step up and help out, but I already know the pattern of dealing with that narcissist. So I'm not going to let somebody use a baby to get me in my emotions, and then I open up that door to feel obligated to help this person. When a narcissist try to come after me, they're going to use up all their options first, and I'm going to know it before I give them any type of loophole. And even then, I'm always have protection. And when I say protection, I'm always going to have a way of, when I don't want to deal with something, I'm going to close that door immediately. Okay. So you got to have that mindset that when you're dealing with a narcissist, because they don't play fair, they're out for them. They expect you to have sympathy and empathy for them. And then when you step out, and because they have not made a change in their ways, they hurt you. And the expectation with a narcissistic family is that you're always giving in. to the idea that this is the role they have. This is your cousin, your sister, your niece, whoever, nephew, brother, whoever it is. They always want you to give in to that role because they're kinship. So you have to go against the grain, because at the end of the day, it will stress your body out. It will stress your mind out trying to accommodate. Let them sit with whatever problems they have. Let them sit. The Bible says the way of the transgressor is hard. There are certain things they're going to have to sit through. There are certain things they're going to have to digest. That's not your problem, especially when they have no respect for you. When it comes to your well-being, no respect, no access. No honor, no access. So to handle a narcissist for the protection of your mental health, you have to put distance between you and that narcissist. Go low contact, no contact. Have a block party, meaning you block their number. Make yourself unavailable to them. They have to come to you on your terms. Okay? And don't feel guilty for allowing them to sit in a mess that they created. Cause them to exhaust every option before they come to you. And if they come to you after exhausting every option and they mess up, then they're out of luck. Because again, the Bible says the way of the transgressor is hard. If this message has inspired you to stand up for yourself against these narcissists, hit the subscribe button and God bless you.